Hi, everyone. I'm Linden Thorp. This is Lodestone Q&A. And today we're talking about something incredibly important, trust. There are so many misunderstandings about what trust is. I've been having amazing conversations about it this week with many people, especially coaches. And contrary to what you may believe, trust is not really something you can build. You can network and learn to relate to many people, but actually, trust is something that we already have. We are trust. We are love. All of these things human beings already are. Yes. So we're going to talk about this in a moment. My lovely guests are here, even though I was very bad in giving them the link today, or very premature in giving them the link. Anyway, they're both here now, so that's and I'll bring them on the stage in a moment. But first, I'd like to start with a little presentation, a wordless presentation, voiceless presentation rather, just to get us in the mood for our topic today, which is trust. So here we go. Okay, so hopefully that sets the scene. And as you can see, this was a video presentation that I used for my masterclass this week, which was superb. And you can probably catch up with my amazing conversation with Lynn Schuessler-Williams on that event. It's all over LinkedIn, so look out for it. Okay, so without more ado, let me bring my lovely guests on. Here we go. Oh, not big enough. Wait a minute. Let me make you all. Oh, there we are. Wow. Hi. I'm so sorry about the link. I did give it to you at the beginning of the week, but I was too early, I think. Okay, so here we are. So any impressions about the video presentation? Shall we start with that?
Yes, nature. Hello, everyone. Hello, Linden and Abby.
Hi.
Nature, I call it the healer, the best healer. So when I watched your video, I felt relaxed and I felt this space of well being. Although I am not in nature, virtual nature is the second best, no problem. So it did put me so much at ease in that space of well being. Loved it.
Lovely, great. Thank you. Abby, what about you? Anything stand out to you there?
I would agree with Muhiba. Yeah, so it made me feel relaxed and made me actually think about trust, because I think when you hear trust, you immediately go into what's said around, which is like the mental. So you immediately go into mental. So it just made me like really calm, go into my body and feel peace and just understand about trust. Yes.
Lovely, great, good. Well, actually, yes, I had a remarkable conversation with Lynn Schuessler-Williams, who is a really great friend of mine. And she immediately said, wow, I never thought of trust as fluid. So she imagined the fluids of the body just coursing around. And for her, that metaphor really worked. And a couple of other people have said the water metaphor really. And for me, it does, because I think that we're so used to using the limited mind to interpret everything, to measure everything, and so on. And it's a superb tool, and I'm not knocking it. People think I'm kind of anti the limited mind. Of course I'm not. We have to have it. And I'm great. But in the unlimited mind, we can we don't need to interpret really things like trust and love. We can feel them. They are in our very being. And so this idea of trust being a liquid, like water, which flows wherever it wants to flow, whenever it wants to flow, really, then we can identify with it being really flowing all the time inside us. So good. I'm so glad that worked for you.
May I comment on this, Lindsay?
You may.
I think trust is the most fluid of all values. It really needs to. If it exists, it would flow.
Mm.
And if it's not flowing, it's not there altogether. So it's in my
Mm.
whole
Mm.
body, I feel it as a fluid
Yeah, that's
that
really
flows.
nice. Yeah, because, you know, in our clients, if there's been huge trauma, then of course the flow of trust absolutely stops. It
That's
becomes
it.
kind
That's
of,
how you know.
that's how we know, isn't it? And I've experienced a couple of really horrible situations in which I couldn't get this to flow for people. I couldn't, they were so traumatized and so distanced from themselves that it was so hard to get them to feel any kind of trust for anybody. Eventually they did for me, which was a breakthrough. But yes, I think if it flows, then it's universal almost. But if it, for some reason, stopped, blocked, then that's a really big problem. And of course, this is what mental illness is about. If we look at mental illness across the board, yeah, patients trust anybody when they have had such trauma. So yeah, great. So we agree that it's something that flows, and it's something we already have in our amazing unconscious mind, or unlimited mind tool bag, if you like. Okay, so I got some questions for you here. Yeah, Ebby, what when you hear the word trust, where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your body?
When I sorry, when I hear the word trust, I feel it in my body that I eat. And I guess the water analogy kind of explains why I feel it that way. So it's kind of feels all over. I hear the word trust. Because I'm going into my body more. I mean, originally when I would hear the word trust, it goes into my head. So that's, I guess, the mental trust kind of thing. But that's not real trust, is it? So the
No.
trust is the one where you feel in the body and you're able to discern, because when you go in your head, you're either listening to other people, and sometimes they could be wrong, and then the fright comes into the whole mix of things, and so you get confused, and you get the wrong person, or you get the wrong conclusion.
Yes.
Whereas when I feel it in my body, which is something I've been learning to do within the last year, I would say, I'm able to discern. And once I can discern whether I can trust, I feel safe. And then that makes me, yeah, it just makes me feel safe, basically. But yeah, it's
Wonderful.
like I feel it, like your question is, where do I feel it? And I'm feeling it all over, which gives me more clarity to be able to discern whether I need to go in one direction or go away from that direction. Yeah.
Right. That's lovely. Yeah, great. I think the idea is that, yes, if we are living in our limited mind, if that's the way we negotiate life from that tool, then of course it's very specific. You know, it's something, the very fact that these phrases exist everywhere. Oh, yes, I need to build trust with my clients. You know, it's so conscious. Or I need to earn trust. Now, the other day I had a real, not an argument, but a real disagreement with someone who used the word earn. She said, oh, yes, I have to earn trust. I said, why? Why do you have to earn it? How do you have to earn it? And really, she was convinced it was something she had to do to create trust. Amazing, isn't it? So if we are operating from the limited mind, then we're going to have lots of situations like that where we feel we're doing enough, which is, the worthy woman thing, isn't it? We're not doing enough to get the trust that we crave. It creates all sorts of inadequacies, I think, if it's here. But once it's here and in your heart, and of course, it really works with the heart so well, doesn't it? Then it flows. It's there all the time. And that's a glorious way to live, I think. Muiba, I can see you've got some wonderful comments coming up.
I start with your glorious way of living. I love this expression because I believe that when you believe in the other, when you trust the other, as a first step, you have a glorious way of living. That's the expression. When I meet someone, I give 100% trust. And it's only when I get the red flags that trust diminishes. It's not the other way around. I
No.
never, ever, ever try to earn, build, create. What's that? I'm not a builder. I'm someone who is going to feel the other. So I first give the 100% trust. And then if anything happens in between, I call it in French la fausse note. It's like, and you know this quite well, Linden, when you are playing the piano and you go to the wrong key, you say, so you're not that pianist I thought you were. And there you become more cautious. I would say trust is wonderful as a flow, except when you get that red flag, then you become cautious. So this is my comment on this glorious way of living. And not having to earn it, but to feel it. And I go now to what Abby was saying. I loved your association of trust with two key values. Oh, yes, trust is a package with safety, with clarity. Trust goes with clarity and gives safety. That's the connection between these values. How wonderful to feel safe because you trust the other. Wonderful feeling. You don't have to think, you don't have to feel something different. Let yourself flow into the relationship. That's how it is when there is trust.
So wonderful to that this metaphor really works, doesn't it? The trust, the flow, yeah. And from what you just said, Muhiba, I mean, how awful not to trust. How awful that must be. I can't imagine it. Of course, I'm not. Of course, yes, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, you meet someone. What a situation if you say, "Let me be cautious." Cautious? You're going to be cautious with everyone you meet, every event that happens. Every time you go out in nature and say, maybe there is a storm, there's nothing. Enjoy it. If there happens to be a storm, go home. But enjoy life. And I agree with you, Linden, when you say, trust the universe, trust life. I have an expression I always use. Life has got so many resources. That's trust. It has got so many resources. When one window closes, you can open the others. And you look around and they are open. You haven't realized they are open. That's trusting the universe and trusting life. Yes.
Yeah. How glorious. I mean, it is. I can't imagine living any other way. I'm not suggesting that I've never had cause to mistrust people and never been disappointed by somebody or even somebody. I'm not saying that. I have. That's part of the human journey, isn't it? We have to deal with those things. But I am saying that from my root, from my heart, it's so easy and frictionless to live when you trust the universe. And that is what I want everybody to be able to feel. That's my one of my great missions to allow everyone to enter that state of flow. And all the time now, we are seeing this word flow. Leadership coaches are talking about flow. Leadership coaches are talking about, embodiment, although they don't really realize what it is often. And I'm noticing that the idea of manufacturing things that will make your business run smoothly is really kind of almost unshakably established in people's ideas, in business people's ideas. And, that means that we're going completely the wrong direction, I think, when we build a business, because we are not integrating our lives into it. We're not prepared to take any risks or prepared to overcome any obstacles. And that's why so many people give up, I think. I think leadership on the whole, because we often talk about leadership because it seems to be such a fashionable topic, feel that leadership in so many ways is going in the wrong direction. This week, I got such strong reactions from people about building trust, about, all the kind of pat phrases that business people often use, when they're talking about customer satisfaction or something like that. They say, you've got to build trust, and it really gives people the wrong impression about being a business owner, doesn't it? What do you think, Ebby?
Yeah. I think, trust is very important in terms of. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Well, it wasn't really a question. It was a kind of reflection.
You're talking about business owners. I'm trying to link it in my head: business owners and trust.
Yeah. Yes. The idea is that I feel that most of the leadership coaches I talk to are going really off course because they're teaching people to build trust. And to me, I mean, go on.
Yeah, I think we need to understand trust itself. And I think because we've been taught mental trust is what most of us work on. And so that's probably why you're finding a lot of people teaching it wrong. And I'm so glad I've got this connection with you, because it's helping me to understand and go within to embody what trust really means. And trust is deep, and that's probably why we in leadership and in general, we get into trouble, I would say, in terms of trust. Because when trust is breached, it's the whole body feels it. So it's like Mohiba was talking around that thing of, like the shock that you feel when trust. So you go in like I mean, she's so similar to me, because I go in with 100%. I don't go in thinking, oh, maybe I should be careful about this person. I go in with 100%. And I guess with the unlimited mind, most people do go in with 100%. And so when the trust happens, the trust is breached, then your body goes into shock, and you kind of feel. And I think you're going to talk about the nervous system and how it works with the amygdala and the brain's alarms, because the amygdala is the brain's alarm system, isn't it? So it goes into shock, and the body becomes protective. So you either get quickened heart, your breath becomes shallow, your muscles become tense, your stomach tightens, your throat constricts. So you can't think, what's going on? What's going on? It's like seeing a tiger, isn't it? You just get really stressed without really, if you're not very embodied and you're into your body, you don't realize there's some sort of stress happening while that trust has been breached. And so it's very important, because when you're in business, I think it's very important to understand how it works and to really have deep trust, because your business and your decisions and your strategy all depend on trust. And if we're teaching as coaches, and if we're not really teaching about trust, how do they work? Because I think when, like for me, when my clients come in, I'm teaching them about themselves, but I need to be aware that teaching them about themselves also means teaching them about how they will react or understand or get clarity when it comes to people they're dealing with, i.e., their clients or their
Mm.
staff, people as their leadership. They need to understand trust from within themselves. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yes.
I think as coaches, we really need to be aware and we really need to get into all this. So I'm really glad that you, for your work, which I think needs to like spread more into society. Yes.
Thank you, Abby. That's lovely. Thank you. It's a great compliment. Yes, I feel so responsible for many of the coaches I meet who just are banging their heads against a brick wall to me, you know. And somebody the other day said, Linden, you are bringing something that nobody else brings to business. Okay, they realize I'm a kind of spiritual being and have a lot of spiritual training, but they have never met anything quite like this in the business world, you know. So yeah, I think it's really superb work that we're doing with this, you know, opening it up to people and yeah, helping them to make life so much easier for themselves, you know. We have everything we need right here. It's right here. And if we get enough confidence to stop the bullying that goes on with from the limited mind, it's all there. It's all laid out. You know, it's simply uncovering it that people need a little guidance with. So yeah, muhiba dozo, as they say in Japan.
Yes, yes. I risk sounding like quoting Shakespeare when I say, to trust or not to trust? That's the question. Because that is the radicalism of trust. Because you can say, can I be flexible? I can be more flexible or less flexible. That is understood. When somebody says, you know, I better trust you a little bit or trust you a lot, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
This is why I say I start with a 100% trust, because that's trust. Trust needs that radicalism.
Yes, I agree.
It can't
I
be,
do
I trust
agree.
you 90%, I trust you 60%. It doesn't make sense. So
No.
trust is such an absolute value. It's a
Yes.
very noble value that connects two people, two groups, a leader and the team. And you are right to speak of the dilemma. Is it a dilemma or simply the game played by leadership when they speak and speak and speak and overdo it when speaking of trust? Do they walk the talk? That is the question now. And
Yes.
one more question, because that's what counts. It's not to talk about things, it's to inspire others to be at ease, because trust is the value that brings the best place you want to be, well being. And as mentioned by Abby, this safe space, this pleasant space where you stop thinking. What stops us from thinking is trust. Once you trust, you have that flow. You're no longer overthinking or even thinking when you have trust, because you just live the experience, the pleasure, the wonderful time you spend together without ever thinking mistrust. Because mistrust, once it's there, it becomes very difficult to dislodge it. So best
Yes.
not ever
Yes.
allow it in. Once breached. Now, when I speak with when I interact with my clients, I often see them shocked by a breach of trust. So I always ask, well, how does it feel to be shocked? It's awful. So it's a state of mind and body where we do not want to stay. What do we replace it with? We need to replace it not with stress, not with shock. I often say we need to recenter it, as with GPS, when it says you want to recenter, you
Mm,
recenter.
mm,
So recenter the relationship, be it with the boss, with your neighbor, even with the beloved ones.
mm.
So you need then to establish healthy boundaries. Okay,
Yes,
we
yes,
have had this breach, but you are someone I love, someone I'm working with. So let me recenter, recalibrate the relationship, and now set the rules. Because when you have trust, you don't need rules. You flow,
mm,
you dance,
mm,
you
mm,
float, everything is
mm.
fine. So now
Yeah.
there is a place. So let's now establish healthy boundaries. And then the relationship can be recentered.
Mm, I agree. Yes, that's a really nice way of putting it, and I think that kind of reset. Look, a few people now are doing that kind of reset. That's what I do, and my friend Lynn Schuster Williams does a reset too, and it's really interesting. I think that if we are in the limited mind and we want to trust unconditionally, then a lot of fear is around this, I find. But people are scared of taking those kind of risks because they're scared of being betrayed or of being made a fool of, perhaps. In some cases, there's a high level of pride, maybe. And so I think in order to trust unconditionally, you can't do it from the limited mind because it just fills with fear at the forecasting of possible betrayal. I mean, yes, we can go back to Shakespeare here, Mipa. We can see lots of Shakespearean heroes who, like Hamlet, for example, that seems an appropriate quote, who spent his whole life doubting people and became completely neurotic in the process. So if we try to trust, if we build trust, if we earn trust from here, then I think if it doesn't work, it creates this huge fear of people, fear of taking any risks, and so the self, if you want to call it that, becomes hugely protected, over cherished is an expression I use, and that over cherish means that people don't take risks anymore. They just stop. They're static. They're paralyzed almost. From
That's
any.
because they're in their heads, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's because we're in our head a lot.
yeah.
And talking about what you're saying about the trust, I think it all begins with self. So self trust, all the self love, and part of self love is self trust. And as we
Mm,
have trust for self, we trust our decisions. It becomes more clear. We trust our intuition.
yes.
And so you're coming around the right people that you can trust. So it's all, like you said, the flow. That analogy is fantastic because as you trust in self, it's all flowing and you don't need to push. You don't need to have that
Mm,
push and pull,
mm,
that battle going on
mm,
within
mm.
because you're trusting and you're trusting with the unlimited mind. Because like the animals who know who to trust, like they know when there's somebody that's not to be trusted, they back off, they bark like the dog,
Yes.
the cats
Yeah.
kind of move away. They know, and we have that too. We've just
Mm,
lost it because we're so into our limited mind, which then causes us a lot of stress. And then we have the anxiety and we have the depression and we have all those things. Our hormones become unbalanced, so the whole body is all confused and all these things are
mm,
so
mm,
trust begins with
mm.
self, and as you trust what
Yeah.
Mohiba said, you get 100%. There's no need thinking because you don't know what is in somebody's mind. So should I trust to be or not to be? Should I trust or shouldn't I trust? All that confusion going on. You don't know what's going on in
Yeah.
somebody's mind, but you can feel if you trust self.
Yes,
So,
I totally agree. Yes, I think it all starts with the self. And it's amazing when people get sick, because I talk to quite a lot of people with chronic problems, you know, and they, at one point, I will say, maybe you don't trust your body. And that really hits a nerve, you know, and they say, no, I don't. Imagine living when you don't trust your body. And now I know it can be so scary if you have a heart attack or something really scary, that maybe it's difficult to believe that it won't happen again. However, if we take into account that more than 60% of the causes of death of human beings are due to inflammation, things like cancer, things like diabetes, and so on. They're all the body inflaming, and that causes death eventually, more than 60%. And so, yeah, we can see that if people are not trusting their body, then the body is layering itself with protection, inflaming, you know, to protect this very weak, kind of naked person inside who has been so betrayed, you see. And so the body starts to build out all this kind of you know, rubber man protection, and then it becomes really difficult to get them to trust their bodies, you know. Muiba.
If I may comment on the beautiful things you have been saying, Linden, Abby, absolutely fantastic. Fantastic, because it inspires me. It reminds me of my own feelings and thoughts. And I often say, no, don't be shocked. Don't be stressed. Don't go into a depression when there is mistrust. By telling myself, it's nothing to do with me.
Yes.
It is the other. That is the first step. That is the first tip. So when my clients come to me so shocked and disappointed, I say, disappointed with whom? With myself for having believed, oh, no, 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 no. We should never go there. You may be disappointed by the other, well, that concerns the other, not you. So this takes me to what both of you have been saying about the self, the belief in the self. And I've often said, I trust everyone, which means I allow myself to be vulnerable. And the beauty of vulnerability is unbelievable. You're not thinking, you're not overthinking. You are letting yourself be, like in a dance. You trust the dancer you are dancing with, that the dancer is not going to fall and make you fall on top or under. You trust the dance itself. Now, that vulnerability can always be what you enjoy. And if by any chance there is mistrust, there is just breaking of trust, I go back to recalibrate, reset, as you were quoting, Lynn. No problem. So vulnerability is a wonderful feeling. Has to be followed by protecting the self. Vulnerability is not, oh my God, too late. It's never too late. Whenever something happens, protect yourself and you are safe. And this is why trust and safety need to go together.
Yes, I do agree. Yes, I think safety. So yes, the body, of course, has its own language and its own mechanisms, incredible mechanisms, which will always adjust to what's happening
That's it.
here and what's happening out there. And another big problem today is that people are never at home. They're never in their bodies. They're always out, you know, outside, facing outwards. So a lot of my work, I get them to turn 180 degrees inward. Instead of using these eyes, use the inner eyes. And that's, of course, what meditation does. And then you can see really how your body and your spirit and your unlimited mind are working together in this incredible dance. Yeah, it's an incredible dance, which is all set up. It's all there. And yet we interfere. This interferes if we allow it. Brilliant. Yeah, ooh, we're making some really good points here. If I can just move on to the next section, because this time I had, I think, 6 sections of questions, so many questions. But yeah, transformation. Let's talk about that for a moment. It leads on from, we've talked about vulnerability, which to me is, I think, one of the most entrancing things for me about human beings is their vulnerability. When they are totally engaged with something or in what they're doing, to me, that is so beautiful. They're so vulnerable, so unaware of any fear and so on. And there's a synchrony about that, which makes me love human beings so much, that vulnerability, you know. So if we talk about vulnerability, we can then perhaps move on to transformation, because many people think that transformation requires some kind of surrender, kind of losing something, you know. And this seems to make coaching and leadership, especially modern leadership styles, really problematic. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel that a transformation? What about you?
Sorry, we lost your last part of your
Oh,
sentence. I did anyway.
Did you? So yeah, transformation may involve some kind of surrender, like you're kind of giving up.
Yeah.
Rather than making this incredible leap into a much safer, much more wonderful space. But you're losing something. You're going to lose something. So I think people who go to coaches, now please correct me if I'm wrong here, and I think there's something about the process of coaching which makes them want to hold on to what they have. And that's, of course, what they have here, usually.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about? So that
Yes. I think people misunderstand surrender. So in our modern culture, especially in leadership and in coaching, surrender is equated with weakness. So we feel we're weak. We feel we've got loss of control, or can relate to that being passive. Yet true surrender is not collapse. It's conscious release. You know, it's the art of letting go of too rigid control, so that authenticity, intuition, and trust can flow. Again, the word flows come up again. So yeah, so when so surrender. I think we think surrender. Yeah, like I said, weakness, or we've given up, or it's something negative, but it really isn't. It's about allowing things to flow. And I found that in all aspects of life, in anything happening to me, sickness, pain, disappointment, just allowing it to flow. It's not that you're giving up, or it's not that you're saying the other person is right. And I think sometimes our egos get in the way, which is probably what the limited mind is all about. So the ego gets in the way. People are going to see you this way. And that's why the self-trust is so important. Because if you trust yourself and you have deep trust throughout your body, you're not worrying that because you know what's right and you've got the clarity. So you surrender, and it's not a weakness. So yeah, So that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think surrender is actually a great thing, and the ego, or the limited mind, has a lot to play, and it's keeping us safe. So it's not. I'm not knocking the limited mind like you keep saying, that people say, but it's that keeping us safe, but it's keeping us safe from the tiger is after us. But the limited mind knows that the tiger is not really after you, you know. And you're safe. You're safe with trust of self. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this word surrender, of course, it has many connotations, many, and it would take me a long time to tell you about, for example, the Buddhist approach to surrender. But it fits with Muhiba's vulnerability, I think, that we are opening up to the universe, and we could construe that as being a surrender because we are going beyond the confines of the limited mind, the framework which rules so many people's lives, and we're saying
Before you get on to Mohiba, can I just say the quote somebody said, quoting what Mohiba has actually just told us? So vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. So being vulnerable is a wonderful, wonderful gift, as Mohiba rightly put it. Yeah, and you've put it too. So I just thought I'll say that because I know Mohiba is going to put in her.
No, that's great. No, absolutely. And this all, Mohiba, dozo.
Thank you so much, because vulnerability is a gift, and I love the way you speak of it as a gift. Surrender is a gift, because what could it be when you are dancing if not surrendering? Surrender yourself to this dance. You can't dance separately, holding on power to decide. It can't be. It's no dance. When you are dancing together, you are surrendering to the dance, to the relationship. That is surrender. And the vulnerability is believing in the other, that the flow would take you through the dancing flow. That is the surrender I have in mind. And I am fascinated by the fact that we are coming from the same space and moving in the same space. We are dancing in this flow right now because, we are speaking of the surrender. Surrender of what, by the way? If it's surrender of power over the other is no power over yourself.
True.
It
That's
means
so true.
when you want to control the other, it means, oh my God, I fear to be controlled. There's no fear. There's no fear. And so when we speak, the three of us, of letting go, when I think of leadership is no different. The relationship leader team is no different from a love relationship, a friendship relationship, a companionship relationship. It is based on what? First, letting go power, letting go ego. They have nothing to do with the relationship. It's built on collaboration, because collaboration reminds us of sharing, which is a great value. It's built on delegation, and delegation reminds us of allowing the other to be generous with you. Because people want to be generous and say, can I help you? Help you does not mean you can't do it. It means I will work with you so that you do it more easily. You know how to do it, you can do it, but working with you would take away the stress of deadlines, of orders, of restrictions, and would let you work in this wonderful space. And if leaders understand that leadership relationship is no different from any relationship you have with your dog, with your wife, with your kids, with your parents, with the world, with the universe, they can then walk the talk and stop talking to us about blah, 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 blah. They have learned. That's it. Just let it be and live the flow. Follow the flow.
American embodiment people and coaches, I don't know if you know, but they talk about your mind getting in your way. You
Yeah.
are getting in your own way. I
Yeah.
think is a great way to see this, because the mind just interferes and starts to reinterpret and kind of intensify the whole thing. So yeah, if we get out of our own way, as many Americans will say, then what we're doing very clearly to me is we are detaching. So in my training, detachment is so important, you know. Buddha said very clearly, if you stand too close to the flames, you'll get burnt. But if you stand a little further back, you'll stay warm, but you won't get burnt. So it's that detachment, and surrender is about detachment for me. I am 1,000,000% compassionate, but I am detached. And Muhiba mentioned it too. You know, it's the other person's projection that may be causing the problem. So yeah, for me, going back to the idea of flow, if we flow with the universe, if we're really, really living our life in our unconscious, in our unlimited mind, I'm confused now, in our unlimited mind, then, you know, everything is possible, because we are the supreme ruler of that unlimited mind. Yeah, this is a huge topic, I think, and it's a very exciting topic to me, this. But I'm afraid to say, my dears, that it's getting very late. Yeah, and I hope we've made some progress. I think we have. We've really looked into this, but I think it bears much more investigation. Don't you think so? This last week, trust has been my main topic with my events and everything. So I'm so delighted to finish off this week going into it with you and getting yet more perspectives on trust. And next week, I'm going to move into the digital life. So now this is where we look at how we live when we're surrounded by AI and digital tools, and what happens to humanity when that happens. So to me, this is a wonderful way into next week's topic, and I hope you'll come and join the
Trust,
event.
there's so much division, you know. There's this one side mistrust AI, and then there's the other side, and there's all this confusion going on. It is, yeah, this is really good. I'm going to really think about that this week.
Do, and come and join us on Wednesday if you're free, because the event will be on Wednesday, and we've got Dr. Marlene Greenleaf co-hosting with me, and she has a lot of stress relief work with her clients, University of New York. And she's going to be co-hosting and talking about this. So please come and join me. And
I will.
Linden, because of time zones, it's 1 hour after Hannah or 1 hour before.
It's 1 hour before.
Yeah, because I'll be talking next week. I'll be talking, so it might be a bit.
You can't. No,
I
really understand that. It's bad timing. I'm going to try and reschedule it next cycle, but it's all scheduled now until the middle of December. But I'd love you to come, and I'd love you to co-host, because it's a brilliant opportunity for us to, really do a session. And so maybe we can earmark that for trust and have a session on trust. You know, it'd be superb.
That would be great, because we've said a lot. We have digged deep enough. And we still have a lot to discover.
There's so much. And I think the trust thing is a big thing to really explore. So maybe expand that, it would be good, because trust is the basis for a lot of things going wrong now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. Yes,
Sure.
great. So, yeah, lots of exciting things to come. But yeah, for today, I'd better let you go. You've got your weekends to start, and I've got actually a client waiting, so I'll have to go too. But it's been wonderful, as you always. And I will be making what my routine is now, that I make 3 clips of this. Of course, we publish the whole thing too, but we bring attention to certain highlights because people can watch shorter videos and so on. So I'm going to be making 3 clips about our talk, and I'm going to pull out those really great
Moments.
conclusions we came to, and I'll let you have those so you can see. So wonderful. Thank you so much for coming, and food for thought, great food for thought. And,
a lot of food for thought, indeed.
yes, don't eat anything else. Just eat.
No, no, just this, just this.
Really
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you around.
Too, Linden, you too, Abby, and all
You too. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Yes,
You
next
too. Love to
week.
you both.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you so much. That was great. We always have so wonderful conversations, but this one really, yes, it's a massive topic. And a lot of my embodiment work is centering around this issue of trust. So if you'd like to know more, DM us, look at my posts, look at my articles, and you'll see lots of revelations there. Q&A, please don't hesitate. I'll leave a link below this window. It's a link you can sign up, you can apply to co-host with me. So if you've got something really you want to put out into the world and put your business out into the world, then please take the opportunity. I've only got 3 slots left this cycle, but we'll be running this again at the beginning of next year. So hopefully there'll be plenty of opportunities. So thank you so much. This is Linden Thorp, and this is Lodestone Q&A. If you'd like to know more about Lodestone and the work I do, as well as the work my lovely colleagues do, just let us know. We'll put our links underneath this window, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.